morning, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Free Rotation podcast. And I'm joined by my other host, Chris.
Hello.
And Bobby.
My nipples are hard.
Wholesome. And we're joined by also our other host and our executive producer, Angie.
Hello.
Now, here's some things you may not know about Angie. Did you know that Angie actually has specific credentials in English and writing? Were you guys aware of that?
Yeah, you told us last week.
Okay, well, you know you're supposed to act like you don't know. Okay, but, okay, try again.
No.
What? I do?
Yeah.
Writing?
Isn't that amazing? So,
Unga bunga.
we decided since it's Christmas time and all of that, we kind of wanted to give everybody sort of a writing class. Like, Angie's going to be leading us in some ideas on how to write, how to be a better writer, and critique some of the writings that we are submitting to her anonymously and see what her input is. Now, Angie, why don't you tell everybody about some of your credentials?
I will. Put me on the spot. I have nothing.
Yes,
No, I'm just
I was
kidding.
about to say.
Well, I am a graduate of Judson College in Marion, Alabama, where I earned a bachelor in English and history. And my focus in English was grammar and syntax.
Okay, so specifically looking at how writing the words go together.
Right, the technical aspect of writing, because writing is a lot more than creativity. There is like everything that requires being done well. There's a plan, and a theory, and a process.
Okay, so have you ever edited for people before?
I've edited. I have also been published. I won back in '97. I won the Presidential Award for Poetry.
I was 4 years old.
Bobby won the National Crayon Eating Contest that year.
Macaroni art. Fuck you.
Okay.
Well, I'm not a big fan of writing poetry. That is seemed to be what I did best. That and erotica.
Oh, okay. Well,
And I have a huge erotica following. They still beg me to write stories.
I like
I'm
how
just
you're
good
like,
at
I'm
it.
a presidential scholar, and I also write a lot of erotica, by the way.
Yeah.
I write smut.
I write smut. I'm very, very good at it because, like I said, all writing has a process. If you follow the process, anything you write will be good.
Well, what about editing other people's writings?
I've edited a lot. There was one website I edited for, and the writer had very good creative ideas. Horrible writer. Absolutely god-awful. So I just took her sentences and paragraphs and made them readable. And she became well-known and very well-liked. But her writing is shit. But her ideas and her storylines are very good.
So creativity is not necessarily the key to be a good writer.
It's an ingredient.
It's like everything else.
Right. It is a main ingredient. Like when you bake a cake, you need, we're not talking about dietary cakes, but you need eggs, flour, sugar to make a cake. That. Creativity would be like your flour. You got to have some form of flour.
Okay. What about tips and tricks for other people?
Well, here's some tips and tricks. There's 10 really that if you follow this process, number one, know your audience. Who are you writing for?
Okay.
If you're writing for the old ladies at the retirement home, you're most likely not going to write about like racing and something like that. Mm-hmm. Sports.
Less smut than you might imagine for the retirement
or
home
more
crowd.
Smut, or more smut, depending on who you're talking to.
Yeah, my sister says they really get at it in the old folks' home.
Apparently, just a little side note, VD runs rampant in old folks' home because they just fuck each other like crazy, which is terrifying. Like, there are fights over it because they just fuck each other a lot.
I guess better to do.
Chrissy came home one day. She had like a black eye and bruises. And she was like, two little old ladies got in a fight over, I can't remember the dude's name, but he had a penis implant, so it was always slightly
ready to go, yeah.
So they fought over him. I'm like, damn.
Just have a threesome, get over it.
She said he would just sit in a chair and whip it out and be like, who's ready? I thought she was kidding, but she's like, I'm not joking.
That's awesome.
Like, literally.
Yeah, he's like, fuck it.
Yeah.
Me at 70.
So, going into that, so you know your audience, you have something to say. What are you trying to say? What story are you trying to tell?
Okay.
Rambling is rambling. We don't want this.
Okay.
And storyboard it. So, you don't want to ramble like I'm doing right now.
You're fine.
It gets boring to repetitively read the same idea and thought. Now, if it's a theme, that's different. That's not rambling if you're trying to promote a theme. You want to be specific, going into having something to say. Be a visual storyteller, but not by rambling. Like what's his face?
J.R.R. Tolkien.
Yeah, rambles.
Anne Rice.
Yeah.
Anne Rice drags on and
for
on
a whole
and
chapter
on.
describing. And by the end of it, you don't even really know what it looks like because you've given up.
Yeah, some people really dig that, but most people are like, this is awful. Get to the point.
Right. Like, you can be very descriptive. Like, sometimes Stephen King rambles, but usually, like, John Kuntz. Dean Kuntz is very good at describing something.
ABC.
Yeah. And you're like, oh, I visualized it perfectly. Perfectly. So, another thing is big words are for big egos. If you can say the word use, don't use utilize. Unless you're writing something very technical. Like,
yeah. Legal papers tend to use a lot of big words, but that's because
and
we
some
have to dick on everybody.
papers do actually require it. Like, thesis statements require it. They require a certain high level vocabulary. But once again, note at your audience, big words are for big egos. Don't do it. A good vocabulary is different from big word overload, and you just want to be, like, once again, know your audience. Who are you writing for? If you're writing fiction, get rid of the big words. Now, that's different than having a good vocabulary and using good words.
Yeah.
Or synonyms for other words like says and said and stuff like that.
Well, you can use, like, antique for old.
Yeah.
Versus...
Right.
Ancient.
Antiquated.
Yeah.
And just like words, you want to have short sentences, not necessarily concise, but short sentences. If a sentence is more than 7 or 8 words, you've lost your reader. Their eyes will track. They're gonna fast read.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm fucked. My first sentence is 8 words.
Wait, no.
God damn it.
Bobby, we're not talking about our stories yet. We're gonna let Angie.
These are just tips and tricks
Yeah,
for
Sorry.
your
these are
average
tips and
writer.
tricks. Yeah. Don't jump the gun.
Sorry.
So, thing about that, there's always exceptions. So, if you're writing a narrative and your character is in a high state of anxiety and their mental thoughts are rambling, that's different. That's the character rambling and not being short and concise. You yourself,
The narrator's not.
you
rambling.
are the writer. You're telling a story. And they're telling their story. So it's very different. Keep paragraphs short. Don't overwrite, because if you have too little to say or too much ego, you want to remove the boredom. So you want to keep attention. You want them, like, waiting to get to that next paragraph, because remember, each paragraph is a thought.
Right.
This is a complete thought.
Okay.
What are you looking at?
Nothing.
Just looking at your pretty face.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. You want to use proper punctuation and grammar syntax.
Okay.
Grammar structure is very important. People will say use correct grammar. There's no such thing. A grammar is a syntax. Each language has a syntax of grammar. Just think Ebonics is an actual grammatical syntax. So don't be afraid to have your character write as they would, write your characters they would speak. So if, you'll see a lot of ethnic writers write in syntax, the grammatical syntax you wouldn't have, like in The Color Purple, she wouldn't speak like we're speaking right now. That's not her grammatical syntax.
Right.
Her thoughts will be in that, but not her dialogue. So you always want to match the dialogue to the character. If they're a mafia boss, write them like a mafia boss. They wouldn't speak like, unless that's the character that they come across as a 3rd grade teacher, but they're a mafia boss. Yeah. Use your active voice. Passive voice is boring. So if I say, people who speak in passive voice are boring. Or I can say passive voice is boring. Like, see, it's
different.
Different. Like, one is just way more aggressive and attention getting, like, oh shit, what's she got to say? Fluff words are bad. Fluff words are like he was very good. She was a little crazy. Fluff words are bad. So Mark Twain actually had a saying that if anytime you want to use the word very to describe something, use the word damn. She was damn good.
Okay.
Like, it gives it something
it.
extra. Yeah. So don't use a fluff word. Use a descriptor.
Mm-hmm.
Don't go bored on your descriptors, though. And edit your work. Edit yourself. Don't be afraid to judge yourself, even if it's harshly or not too harshly, but you want to edit at least 4 times.
Okay.
A good editor, like a good writer, will go over their work 5 times. Once is just your thought flow. Get it all out. Don't worry about editing at that point. You're just writing, and then you can go and change it up. Put it down, put in ideas, and be like, oh, right here, I want to link back to this. But you have to edit yourself.
Okay. Well, for that, we decided that me, Bobby, Chris, and Moreland would submit different stories to you for critique.
Okay, so you guys take the tips and tricks and go write your stories.
Absolutely.
And then we'll come back and see how well we did.
Yes.
Stories are done.
And so we also decided that we would do it based on a Christmas theme. You know, that time of year.
Okay, so you guys have your stories. You've written it based on a theme.
It's for the kids.
How wholesome.
It is. So I've actually numbered 4 stories. The stories are anonymously numbered by 4. So there's 4 stories. So you get to pick which one you start with.
Let's start with 2.
Okay. So,
that's dos for our Spanish-speaking audience.
No, don't sway me by telling me whose it is.
Nope, no names. So
I'm already excited.
So go ahead and
Okay, it's called Jingle Down the Hall. It's a catchy title. Curious what it is. Okay, hello and Merry Christmas. My name is...
She's already stopped.
It's already a problem because, see, as I'm reading, I had no pauses because there's no punctuation. So I'm just going to read it as it is.
Do it.
Okay, hello and Merry Christmas. My name is Arnold Schwarzenegger, and I would like to tell you about how I say Christmas for my son, Anakin Skywilder, a.k.a. Annie. Please like and sub for more story time, okay? 4 question marks.
1 sentence.
There's punctuation.
That's a paragraph, though. Wow, there's no paragraphs. Okay. You see, it would have been a great start if the comma had been there to pause like the character. You see? But no, there's no pause. You see, I used to be an exec of a high level... Okay, they're also shortening the words.
Executive.
You should always, in your writing, spell out your words. For instance, if I were not a native English speaker, I would have read this. You see, I used to be an exec of a high firm that hold lots of people and lots of space. You see what I mean?
Okay, so maybe read it and see how it goes at the end and tell us.
Okay, lots of space, so I would work many on in because to be high level, you have to grind many levels and defeat. Okay, defeat. This is spelled like defeat. Kind of like these nuts. So.
Just keep reading. This is good.
Okay. And defeat many bosses. There's an apostrophe S at the end of bosses.
Bosses.
See if you can get through the story without stopping.
Okay, so I did that for many years to help my wife and my son, Annie. Interesting son's name.
You made it 1 sentence.
But because I worked many hours grinding, I did not spend many times with my son, which cackle happened a lot of Christmas because we were very, very busy and we had lots and lots of dollar sign to make. It's also very, very bad. 1 year, a comma was there though.
God bless.
Makes me happy. 1 year. Annie, my son, wanted this toy day was very hard to find in stores. You know, kids. Text speak is not acceptable in any format. My wife told me many X's. Times. We're in algebra now. This is an algebra equation. I figured it out. Sweet. To make sure I went to get this toy, either it was Beanie Baby or Furby. I can't remember. I hear those were popular. God, it just goes on and on. I'm like, that wasn't so bad. And then the sentence just kept going. Well, unfortunately, I was grinding really hard when, I saw the time at work and was like, oh no, Christmas is almost time. I forgot to get Annie a toy. So the next day I told my wife I'd be home in time for something family I don't remember. And she said, you better, your son will not love you. And I was like, oh no, okay. I went to Walmart and surprise, no Xbox console. But I could wait in line and see if I could be next to get one. That's when I met Shaquille O'Neal. He would die if he saw his name spelled that way, I'll tell you that. Former LA Laker and big fan of ramen noodles. So kawaii.
Angie just looks so irritated. It's the best.
What's worse is I'm actually interested in how it's going to turn out. I'm like, what's going to happen?
I want to know where this is going.
We waited in line together because he forgot he had us. Okay. Also, you can't plagiarize stories. When you're writing, be sure it's a halfway original idea.
This is a very original idea, it sounds like.
Sure, yeah.
I've never heard this story before.
I went to Walmart and surprised... Oh, I already read that.
And I can't remember a story with Arnold Schwarzenegger and Shaquille O'Neal in it together.
I
so
can't
there's
either,
that.
to be honest.
And his son's Anakin.
We waited in line together because he forgot he had a son because he is NBA star. So he was trying to find a new toy as well. But surprise, still no toy. But there's a guy there named Bob who was like, by the way, I have some free toys you can give your son so they love you. Haha. I added the haha, but. So me and Shaq. Love Shaq. Go to this guy's house named Pippi who says he has newest Pokemon cards for sale. Well, turns out it wasn't. It was Yu-Gi-Oh cards. So me and Shaq really lies that we were lied to. Oh, that we were lied to. Oh my God. So I have to get something to drink and tell my wife I messed up. She gets mad and tells me, if you don't have toy, we getting divorced. You're never going to see Annie again. So I'm like, wait, no. And decide to try and win the Iron Man doll. Well, guess who was also trying to win the Batman doll? Wait a minute. What happened to Iron Man? Batman doll. I've lost my place. I gotta stop getting so shocked by the story. To win the Batman doll, surprise Shaquille O'Neal. He is also at the radio station talking to people like, hey, I'm Shaq. I need Toy Me Famous. And they're like, no. And he says, yeah. And I say, wait, no, I need it. And he says, but my son is more famous. And I say, no, my wife will divorce me because I try to level too hard. And he says, oh, no, okay, no slam. And we fight. But it turns out someone robbed me of my car, so I had to walk home. But I am a hard level grinder, so I can get an Uber and go home. But it turns out it was Shaq who robbed me because when I see him, he says, no, you can't get toy before me. And I'm like, no, Shaq. Then I listened to my favorite Christmas song, Little Drummer Boy, so I could get back into Christmas spirit to save my son's toy. No period. Still no period. There's still no period. So then I tried to go home, but then suddenly I see my neighbor Bob trying to put my decorations up. How did you get in my house, Bob? I yell, and he says, your son needs a dad. And I'm like, your wife. So I'll be his daddy, okay? And I'm like, no, Bob, I am his father. So we fight, but I leave because I still need to get Nintendo. Wait, when he looked at Xbox?
And Batman and the Iron Man, as I recall.
Yeah.
And a Furby at some point.
A greedy fucking kid.
Yeah.
Oof.
So get a Nintendo Wii. So every year there's this big parade in my hometown, and turns out Xbox Man is there. So I go there trying to steal Christmas gifts because I love me some Annie and don't want him to turn into bad guy. Well, surprise, Shaq is there too, and we get into B-Box tournament, but I win. But Shaq's son is like, no, Dad, don't go to jail. So I give his son latest new toy and tell me, son, I love him, and we end up having a joyful Christmas. By the way. Oh, no. By the way.
BT Dubs.
This is always where these stories... By the way. BT Dubs. I dress up as Spider-Man. So he's multiple people.
Yeah, I am Spider-Man.
I dress up as Spider-Man, and I try to steal the toy for my son, but it turns out that isn't right at Christmas because Christmas is about giving and not taking, which is illegal in some states also. I forgot my wife a gift, and she did divorce me a few years later. But if it wasn't for me trying to get Elmo... Oh, we're back to the original.
Yeah.
Plagiarized.
Full
story.
circle. We went full.
My son would have become evil overlord of the whole realm. He learned to level up good. Level up. He learned to level up good as well. He learned to level up good. What I learned is that no matter what, make sure you do your Christmas shopping early because you may not be able to buy gifts in time for Christmas. And that is bad if your wife gets mad at you. Okay, the end. Merry Christmas.
How was that for you?
What do you think? What do you think?
0. Give it out of 10. What rating?
Yeah,
would you give?
0 out of 10.
Let's just say that they tried.
Well, they're eating fucking glue.
The sun was spelled S-U-N, so
Oh,
all I
no.
pictured was like the sun in the sky, like beating down a heavy
It
rain.
was the Teletubbies fucking baby son, but it's grown up.
Yeah, I did appreciate the. Yeah.
Okay.
There's a place for it.
Yeah.
I did appreciate
They
Yeah.
did follow the theme of Christmas.
The letters.
Did it? Do you see the punctuation?
Well, no.
I never
didn't
heard
see
that. I didn't know Christmas was about punctuation, but I'm glad I know now.
Well, okay, so that was your first story. What would you like to do next?
Let's go with a short one. Just pick a short one.
A short one?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll go with...
Let's go with number 1. Number 4.
Number 1 is almost as long.
Okay.
It's double spaced.
Here we go. We'll go with this one.
Fair.
Ignore the first part because it is my email on top. I had to forward it to myself.
Okay, this one is called Hotmail. I'm just kidding.
That'd be a good smut name.
Oh no, I already know who this is.
Oh, it's a continuation. Oh, it's a saga.
It's a continuation. Okay, Moreland, here we go. Once again, we are here with Harry and Dumbledore to save Christmas. Okay, Harry's not capitalized, but other random stuff is. This is a story of mystery, of intriguing, and of mystery. I'm out.
Yeah, you gotta finish
it. Of intriguing. Okay. Dumbledore came to Harry one day. Oh my god. And asked, period. Harry, why is this Santa Clausen guy messaging me on my wand? Harry, spelled differently again. They're all spelled differently. Took Dumbledore's... Oh, you open and close these. Wand and looked at it. Dumbledore, Harry shouted. Wait. Dumbledore, Harry shouted. Okay. We must save the day of Christmas. Fuck all the other days. But which time zone? Which time zone are we talking? No, I'm just kidding. Dumbledore and Harry spelled differently again, both of them. Get into the Wesley's flying car and head for the South Pole.
What's wrong?
Have you never seen his Mr. White Christmas?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. We know what lives in... Dumbledore looks Harry... They're spelled correctly.
Holy shit.
Dumbledore looks Harry in his majestic eyes while drive and says, we should stop doing things like this. It seems like more of a group activities. Hermione and Ron Weasley pop out from under Harry's invisible cloak, scaring Dumbledore. Ah! It screams! First of all, what were they doing under that cloak?
Fuck around, find out.
And there's no... Okay. We have been here all along, Professor! Exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation. Also, you need to be going to the North Pole, not the South Pole, says Hermione. Ron agrees because he is tapping that and he wants to keep it that way. That's a sentence I can appreciate. Like, that was actually very well written. Everything's correct in it. Priorities. Know your audience.
The smut queen likes the smut.
Why did you steal my dad's car? Can't you, like, teleport places, and don't we have, like, random boots in the forest to bamf us places? Asks Ron. Harry pipes up and says it was my idea. And it's cold outside. We need the heat that's in the car. Oh, says Ron. Ron? After a few hours of flying, the crew arrives at the North Pole. Tim Allen is there as Santa Claus. I love the incorporation. I didn't go over plagiarism and stuff because I didn't think it was necessary. But... he waves to all of the wizards and gives Dumbledore's the finger.
It's aggressive.
There's also weird, like, this is so badly good because there's, like, weird syntax errors, too. You can teleport, jackass. He points to Snape, who is already there. Wrong there. Covered in snow with the bad guys already defeated. I'm sorry, we couldn't. Be here sooner, Tim Allen, as Santana Clausen. Santana Clausen. Didn't anybody else picture Santana?
Yeah.
With a pickle.
Oh, God. And that's the story of Ron Weasley, Hermione, Harry, and Dumbledore's adventure to save Christmas. Sent via the Samsung Galaxy S9 Plus, an AT&T 5G evolution-capable smartphone.
Nice.
Okay, so what critiques would you give to that story?
Was there a plot?
Yeah, they're saving Christmas.
They
Yeah,
went
they
to
were
meet
saving
Tim Allen and
Christmas
get the finger.
Yeah.
Okay. Hermione?
To get fingered?
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Santa
I was
Claus
just saying
fingered
there
Hermione.
was like a beginning, middle,
What
and
age?
end.
Was there?
There seemed to be a beginning.
Was there?
I mean,
Where did Snape come from?
He's
he
magic.
teleported.
Oh, you can tell. I thought Santa Claus. See, this is the problem. Who teleported? Snape, Santa Claus,
Well, I was about to
Santana
say-
Clausen. Like,
Santana
Aren't a
Clausen.
lot of stories up for interpretation?
there's interpretation, and then there's just teleportation. This one teleported from beginning to end.
Okay, so what would you
I
give
wish,
that?
as the listeners, they could see.
I'll post
What
these
a-
up on.
Okay.
I'm going to post this on our website. so
No, you're not
everybody-
posting mine up. Mine's not being posted.
Um.
I didn't like mine.
Um.
I
Well,
want
what
my
did
name
you
associated.
guys think of the stories?
I didn't feel like I don't like mine being out there.
I want to blow my brains out.
Yeah. Okay.
I think they were very creative, except that one about Jingle All the Way.
It was creative.
Yeah, I just took creative liberties.
Yeah.
Yeah.
2 to go.
Let's go with number 4.
Cool. Not mine.
Okay.
Oh, real short one.
Okay.
She looks horrified already.
I'm already triggered by the title. It's fine.
What's the title?
Well, remember I said you should know your audience. The title is Harry Frogger and the Pamphlet of Fire. There's some mucus covered frog. You know what? Let's just go with number 1.
No, we gotta finish.
You can do mine.
No, we gotta finish.
Harry Frogger was a small mucus-covered frog whose parents had been killed in a terrible Cajun cook-off related incident. That's terrible. He had been sent to live with his aunt and uncle, the awful Viral in Pinocchio. I like it. They were terrible people because... Syntax. They weren't people at all. They were amphibians. And the worst kind. Salamanders. Slimy, sticky salamanders. One day, whilst Harry was out by the lake enjoying a snack of some of the local dragonflies... No, Harry! He was approached by a wise old screeching barn owl! Screech! Somebody's dying. I don't even want to read it. Did they tie the sheets? Said the owl. Did your penis get a twin?
I got hard as fuck from the owl.
Wow. Harry, you're a wizard because you have midichlorians in your blood. Oh my god.
I'm starting to see a theme for all of these Christmas stories.
Harry was, of course, okay, but the punctuation is so perfect. Other than the syntax of the sentences and paragraphs. I'm not a wizard. Never mind. Then suddenly got... not a wizard, I'm a frog. You're a wizard, Harry, and you must take the pamphlet of fire and destroy it in Mount Mordor. Oh, wow, okay. We're crossing a lot of different fandoms here.
But isn't that what fanfiction is?
It is where the printing press that created the pamphlet was created, so for some stupid reason, it's the only place the pamphlet... I said pamphlet.
Pamphlet.
The pamphlet can be destroyed. And with that, he thrust the pamphlet of fire at Harry, who was sat there dumbfounded. I can't go to Mount Mordor, continued Harry. I'm just a young frog boy, and the mountain is at least 12 hours worth of boring-ass movies away. Screech! Rebutted Mr. Owl. If you don't, I will eat your soul. Harry was paralyzed with fear. You will be provided assistance along the way so that the task will be completed. Okay, Mr. Owl, if you insist, I will accomplish this for all the people of Panem. That's it, I'm out. That's too much. That is too much. As Harry watched Mr. Owl fly away, he couldn't help but wonder if what the crazy loud old bird had said was correct. Am I a wizard? Do I have magical powers? He did. His real name was Yoda, and he was a badass little swamp monster. Merry Christmas, the end.
Nice.
Okay.
Okay, so what do you think of that one?
I don't know. Where are we?
What are we?
What are we?
Yeah.
Because amphibian, salamander, frog, mucus. Like, that's just too far.
Well, you said to know your audience, and so what did you think of it as the audience of the story?
I'm actually terrified at the thought that there's an owl screeching out there somewhere. He's not trying to kill us. He's trying to save us. Maybe because he's sending frogs to destroy a pamphlet.
How do you feel about the word pamphlet?
I don't like it. I'm also like, his real name is Yoda. This combined a lot of fandoms.
What would you rate it? You look like you're thinking really hard right now. Like, I wish people could see your face.
She just looks
right
confused.
now. I know. It's like she kind of like went into the dead zone.
This one has my favorite sentence of all time in it.
Okay.
Harry, you're a wizard because you have midichlorians in your blood. But it's spelled midichlorians, which I think is hilarious. You have midichlorians in your blood. Harry was, of course, taken aback. I'm not a wizard, I'm a frog. You're a wizard, Harry, and you must take the pamphlet of fire and destroy it in Mount Mordor. And then it just loses it.
Yeah. That happens.
But you know what? There was a beginning, middle, and end as well, I think.
Also, the spelling was really good.
Yeah.
And there was punctuation. And I could tell this person tried very hard to not use proper punctuation, but they did. Like, the sentence structure is horrific, and there's no paragraphs to speak of, except they start mid-sentence.
Yeah.
So,
It's fine. It's good.
the syntax of the story is horrific, but the punctuation, You tried to be bad, but you're good. You're good. You were spelled correctly. I can't hate it.
But so there was some effort there to make it much more narratively appealing.
Oh, yeah. They did follow some of the things.
Okay, that's good.
Mm-hmm. I mean, those didn't even get on the list of rating of numbers. That one did.
Oh, that's good. Oh,
because of the midi-chlorians in his blood.
Well, what would you rate this out of 10?
I'm going to give that a solid 3.
Oh, okay. We finally got a rating out of this one. Okay.
The spelling and the grammar, like...
I like how it's the spelling
good.
And the grammar, regardless of anything else.
The story doesn't matter.
I could edit that into something, like, really... Okay, not... Oh, you know, the grammar...
Readable.
Yes.
You can make it readable.
Yeah.
What about the other ones?
No. One's plagiarism, just flat out.
I don't know what you're talking about because I felt like that story really did have a narrative story.
I'd never heard of anything with Arnold Schwarzenegger and Shaquille O'Neal.
Yeah, no.
And Spider-Man.
It just sounds like the 90s.
Spider-Man's.
Oh, by the way, I was dressed as Spider-Man's, and I wanted to steal, but it was illegal.
So I have a theory
in
about
some
that.
states.
In some states.
Not all of them.
Yeah, only in some
Theft is
states.
legal some places.
I have a theory what the Spider-Men's thing. Maybe they have dissociative personality disorder, so each of their personalities dressed up as a different Spider-Man.
And look, they were looking for different gifts.
Yeah.
Or the character is actually a woman, and she's Spider-Menzies.
Oh.
I don't think any of us are F. Scott Fitzgerald, and we need to read too deep into any of this. None of these have ulterior meanings.
That was the last one.
Okay.
Anonymous.
Anonymous.
Okay. Ginger in X-Files romance. I want to make a gingerbread girl. Okay, this one doesn't have very good punctuation. Just gonna start off. Emily informs Scully as they roll out the dough for the cookies. You can make whatever kind of gingerbread person you want. Then we can give them all names, Scully replies with a smile. I'll make a whole gingerbread family, Emily says with excitement. A whole gingerbread family for me to eat, Mulder booms as he enters the room, rubbing his stomach ominously. Okay, that sets the tone. That's a good word. We know what to expect.
Okay, this person really did think about this.
And was watching the X-Files at the same time.
Yeah. No, we can't eat them. We are giving them names, Emily cries, suddenly panicked. Scully gives Mulder a look and he laughs. Ha ha ha. Gingerbread people are for you to eat. I don't know why my voice did that. Gingerbread people are made for you to eat them. It's their life's purpose, Mulder says in a reasonable tone of voice. But the punctuation did not match the reasonable tone of voice. Emily shakes her head and crosses her arms. No one wants to be eaten, she says emphatically. Oh, I see where this is going. I see where this is going.
Some people do.
Mulder snorts and leers at Scully until she shoots him a glare that could freeze burning coal. Turning his attention back to Emily, he tries to explain that gingerbread people wait their whole existence just to live in her tummy. He tells her that from when they are just little grains of ginger, they are dreaming of the day when a cute little girl can eat them. Same gingerbread people, same. It only takes a few minutes of magical story weaving to convince the child that she would be doing the ginger people a huge favor by eating them. That night, after the gingerbread people are out of the oven and drying, Maggie Scully comes to the door to collect Emily for the night. Mulder hovers around Scully as she packs up Emily's things and the gingerbread cookies. Emily is nervous about leaving Scully for the night, for the first time since she'd moved to D.C., but with Grandma Maggie's promises of board games, Christmas movies, and ice cream, Emily's fears disappear, and soon she's kissing them both goodbye happily. Mulder doesn't waste a moment before removing the Christmas apron from around Scully's waist and pulling her to them. Oh my. Scully's become a gingerbread woman. They move quicker than either of them would have liked, but they know they will have time for leisure later. Only 10 minutes after waving goodbye. This is getting awkward. Perfectly sinful. His dream. Okay, before she comes, she's pulling him up and begging him to finally, for the love of God, finally fuck her. See that narrative of the characters thing? You can make those segues from proper grammar and syntax when you're in the character's tone, because she's not thinking properly, so the words shouldn't be proper. That makes sense.
Okay.
He happily obliges and is inside her in seconds. They moan together as years of pent-up tension are released. It's everything they have felt for each other, all in one. As he thrusts into her, Mulder remembers the hollow feeling he had as he stood in her wrecked, empty apartment when Dwayne Barry had taken her, holding her as she sobbed after her narrow escape from Donnie Pfaster, bringing her flowers after hearing the words oncology ward, and panicking and finally listening to her broken yet hopeful voice as she told him over the phone about Emily. Okay, and then we reach our run-on paragraph sentence. Scully lets herself go for the first time in a long just as flashes of him as father to her daughter. Seeing him take Emily as his own was what finally convinced her they could work. Who thinks these things during sex? He's a good father. Yeah.
Maybe she's a daddy kink.
Her nails dig into his back when she comes, and he comes with her, moaning her name into her hair. From what I understand, that's a myth about straight people. That the coming together is actually quite rare.
It never happens.
Yeah.
Rarely. Pornography, it's whatever.
When they are spent, it takes some time to recover before they can talk. During that time, they just smile at each other with the occasional small laugh. Mulder gets her some tissues to clean up and pulls her close. See, that's thoughtful.
Aww.
That's decent. They lay in silence for some time, appreciating the gravity of the situation before Mulder finally breaks it. Did you keep any gingerbread cookies for us? Because I'm thinking they would make a mighty good post-coital snack.
Okay.
Merry Christmas.
I mean, that is a wholesome Christmas story.
A lot of holes in it.
Yeah.
Oh, wholesome.
Yeah. I knew the second. You don't eat gingerbread people. I'm like, oh.
It was foreshadowing.
It. You know what? This story had everything.
What did it have?
It had a plot. It had
some of which
it was porn with plot.
Okay.
It was PWP. It like you become connected to the characters. I mean, we already knew them, but you know, you get a connection to the character.
Okay.
You get a sense of who they are, especially Emily. I'm wondering why she didn't want to go to her grandparents' house, but that's okay. Now I'm thinking the grandmother is evil. So we got to have a second chapter for sure. But yeah, I think the punctuation and grammar was really, I mean, it wasn't perfect. There's always room for improvement. But yeah.
So what would you rate that story?
I would say this one was a good, 6 or 7, 6.5 out of 10.
Okay.
Nice.
Based on our process.
Tips and tricks.
Tips and trips, yes.
Tips and trips.
This one was good. I mean, we did have the paragraph that was just the run-on sentence. But when you think of it from the narrator's perspective, Mulder is in the middle of coitus. Which, remember what I said about the word? It's post-coital. We could have had a better word there. And he's, like, thinking all these things. It's probably speeding up. I mean, I feel like the author could have known his story, his audience a bit better because, like, a woman wouldn't have pulled you up from between her legs for sure. Like, you're staying there until she finishes. Like, yeah.
All right. Okay.
That is not always true.
Yeah. Sometimes
Straight
you
women.
just...
It's the whole thing.
That's knowing your audience, right?
Yes.
I'm serious. Like, yeah.
So based on these stories, why don't you rate them from 1 to 4? Like, best story to story that you probably would not read to your children.
I probably wouldn't read about Mulder fucking.
Actually, you know what?
Yeah.
That's the point. How about
It doesn't mean it's not
how about
good.
you wouldn't sear your eyes with ever again?
Well, the first one that is the most searing to the eye holes is the Hermione. Moreland's going to come out on top again. I know that was him. That's probably like his good writing.
He did attribute this to being like a college class where he had to write. So
Jesus Christ, they should fire that professor.
He did an excellent job.
And it was a continuation of a saga he previously wrote.
Yeah. Yeah, I would have never bought the book or read it free
Remember
on
Fire
Kindle.
and Ice?
I do. So, yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. I'd say the next one would be the Jingles All the... I mean, the Shaq and Arnie Schwarzeneggers. Which...
That was my favorite, I think.
Was it?
It was.
It was a good movie.
It was.
Phil Hartman had a great role before he was murdered by his wife.
It's
Yeah.
true.
Oh, fuck, you're right. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Merry Christmas.
And then I greatly enjoyed the other Harry Potter story.
There's a lot of Harry Potter crossover, I felt.
Yeah.
And Star Wars, surprisingly.
Yeah. And Hunger Games.
Yeah.
I was surprised by that. That made me think a whole new thing.
Also, Lord of the Rings was in there.
Yeah,
True.
There was some more. Yeah, that's right. The Mordor where the printing press was.
And Redwall, right? Because they're talking animals and swords and shit.
That's
True.
right. See?
So
it had a little bit of everything.
So would you say that we followed your tips and tricks very well?
No. Although the X-Files did follow the formula to pretty much... Yeah, I mean, there was some room for improvement, but that story could go on Literotica right now as is.
Oh, that's a big accomplishment.
Mm-hmm.
Could someone get paid for that?
Yeah.
No. Not happening.
Seriously?
Don't use your real name, homie.
No, I'm throwing that shit away.
I didn't use my real name. And that's how I put myself through college.
I'm about to say,
when I drank myself out of a scholarship,
we really should
started writing.
Publish. Why?
I don't like it.
Your name. Well,
Here, I'll publish it under my name.
Sure.
And I'll take the monies.
I was about to say, I was going to put all of our stories on our thing so everybody could read them and see exactly how they looked. Because let me tell you something.
Yeah.
Rewriting Jingle All the Way is not a feat that I would take on any other day.
And it was really great. Honestly, I didn't know that one was yours at first because you did a really good job of
hiding how I normally write.
The syntax and grammar were horrible.
Let me tell you.
The punctuation was non-existent. It was non-existent.
I will say that I started writing that at 8:15, blacked out, and at 8:45 before court, I finished it, and I was like, what atrocity have I created today? It feels pretty good.
I was drunk last night, woke up this morning, realized this kind of makes sense. I'm going to slap this into Grammarly and see what spits out. And that's what came out. A lot of those big words, I didn't mean to put in there. But like, do you mean to spell this? I'm like, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's call it post-coitus.
Yeah. I like the word coitus. It's fun. It's a fun word. It's one of my favorites.
Hey, girl, you want to
I will say that
later?
when I got...
you want to fornicate?
When I got Chris's message about the title of the story...
Okay, yes, I need to address the hairy frogger.
Mine was more towards... making you uncomfortable.
You addressed it to your audience.
Yes.
The mitochondrians, though, like that's just the best line in a story. You're a wizard. You have mitochondrians in your blood. Like, I pictured this screech owl, the one that sits on my back fence and scares shit of me because I think he's the Mothman. Mm-hmm. Like, saying that to the red frog I saw one time out there. So when I'm laying in bed tonight, I'm going to wonder if a frog is out there. Like, it's not...
But he's really Yoda, so it's fine.
It's fine.
No, because now I don't like Yoda because he's a frog.
But go ahead, sorry.
No, you go ahead.
You hate owls and you hate frogs.
I love owls. I'm just terrified of them.
So you want the owl to kill the frog?
No.
But you don't like frogs?
No.
Yeah, so the owl kills the frog. And you're
good. The frog is on a quest.
Well...
Could we just call it the paperifier?
We cannot. It's the pamphlet-ifier.
Can I just say, in all seriousness, because I knew you knew this was going down, I do really appreciate you putting yourself through this torture again because it was so much fun the first time putting you through this.
The eyeballs. There were some of that was actually physically painful.
Oh, it was great just watching you stop in the middle of a sentence and have to recollect yourself because Jesus.
I thought we were all writing smut. That's why I wrote smut.
I don't remember that ever being one of the ideas.
Christmas theme, I said whatever you wanted to write.
God damn it.
I even said specifically, I am writing a bad rendition of a movie.
Did you know how many smut forums I went on to help me fucking write this shit?
Yeah, that's why you went on them, Bobby.
Yeah, Bobby.
Help.
I mean, I was beaten off too, but I think that's fair. I was doing the research and beaten off.
I will have to say, I think our stories really did fit our personalities. Moreland's was just him writing normally.
Moreland's actually legit is if you go on fanfiction.com and pull up especially any manga or anime TV show, it's written by a lot of younger kids. And it reads a lot like that.
That is unpleasant.
Like, seriously, they will start be like, he went into her house. They're upstairs kissing. Actually, there's really no segue to the house. Like, they're driving in the car. He's upstairs and he kisses her nipple. And she comes, and I'm like, oh, okay, first
Have you ever met a lady?
No.
They probably haven't.
Wishful thinking on your part, because you got to put in some work here, dude.
Well, like I said, I do appreciate you. Well, it'll be another 2 years before we ever do this again, because you have to go through therapy again. But, okay, so which one did you think was worse? This version this time, or the one prior?
This one was really good. And by good, I mean bad. Does that make sense?
Yeah, like this time it was like...
Because I actually enjoyed the stories. Especially the the Christmas.
Jingle down the hall. Get it right.
Jingle down the hall. That's it. When he said jingle down the hall, though, I thought it was going to be a Mulder type story.
No, it's wholesome. It's
and
about.
I do love X-Files.
It's about love.
And Scully's hot. So.
Yes. What's her face is very attractive lady.
Gillian Anderson.
Yes.
Well, maybe one day you can torture us back.
Oh, I will. I will. I'm already plotting some like trivia thing we should do.
Oh, that's right. We haven't done trivia in a while.
Are you down?
Yeah, I love trivia.
Okay.
Yeah,
what about next week? I prepare a trivia contest for you guys.
Okay.
Sure.
We did this last time, and it goes horrifically because we don't remember half the shit.
No.
Is it trivia like about the podcast?
Mm-mm.
Oh, just random trivia?
I did think about...
What we've done like what you tell me is your fandom, whether it's sports.
Oh, cool.
Bobby wrecked. He knew every bit of his sports trivia. So he was like, I know Falcons trivia, and he did.
I was about to say, I did think about this yesterday, that one day we should do a podcast trivia where we have to do trivia about the podcast. But for each of us, it has to be from when we started to now. So, Bobby's would have to be from 2 years ago, Chris's would have to be from a few months ago, and then us would have to be from the very beginning.
I blacked out a lot of times.
I know. But I was thinking about it. I was like, how could you do that? And it's like...
what was the mute button?
Right. What was the movie? Or how many, who has had the most episodes they've appeared on?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
In order. So...
Oh, fuck.
And I do know that because I was thinking about this the other day.
Okay.
So...
That's too much.
That's too much.
That's too much.
But yeah, you come up with trivia for us and we'll torture ourselves.
It'd be random trivia and also, give me your fandom trivia.
I'ma fuck y'all up.
Yeah.
I don't know. I did pretty good on Critical Role trivia.
You can't do fandoms you've done previously.
I know. I've got to find another.
And we're going to do it where you'll have the first 5 seconds to answer your own trivia question before other people can chime in.
Gotcha.
I'm going to have the big boards on the wall. And then we'll have a bonus section of my fandoms.
Oh.
Well, I won't have 3.
Oh, okay.
Just general.
Yeah, just general.
Gotcha. Okay.
I'm down.
And it won't be there will be super hard questions. It's like a Jeopardy board, Chris.
Yeah.
So,
Or do you get to pick
Yeah. Yeah, so if on your fandom, so it'll be labeled across the top of fandoms, and it'll be the 200 to 1,000.
Oh.
Hey, Becky, where can they find us?
Oh, yeah, I forgot we got to finish up the episode. You can find us on Facebook at The Free Rotation Podcast. You can find us on Twitter at The Free Rotation. You can find us on Twitch and YouTube at The Free Rotation. We're also on Spotify, Google Play, Apple Podcasts, all that place. You can find all of our backlog at looking up The Free Rotation Podcast. We're also affiliates of Weeby Geeks. Check out all the other great episodes at WeebyGeeksPC.com. And, yeah.
You can also find some people in writing classes.
Yeah,
No, I'm just kidding.
I will 100% say, and Angie can vouch for me, I do not write like that normally.
She does. It's worse. No, I'm kidding. Becky's a phenomenal writer.
That was fun, though. I don't want to post these up. I don't care what Bobby says. They're getting posted up.
That's fine.
We don't know which one's
Yes.
Bobby's.
Right.
Yes. I think we all know who's Bobby's.
It's secret.
I think we all know. Chris was like, let's make everybody uncomfortable. Mine was like, let's
Can we
plagiarize.
just get rid of the mucus word?
No.
No.
I literally
No.
felt nauseous when I read mucus.
No.
I do what I can.
Oh, but his parents getting killed in the Louisiana cook-off accident. It was just so good. I wanted to hate the syntax errors, but the story was good.
He's a frog.
Yeah.
They eat frogs.
He's adorable.
All right. Trivia next week. It's
Sure.
going down, y'all. It's going down for real. Don't DMCA us. Bye.
Bye.
I'm going to get
But
us
to
Adobe.
me-
Is that some type of terrible witch on the
Yeah.
other side?
Yeah.
We're not going to deal with
What
it.
is that?